What if I told you the rich don't see gifts as expenses? They see them as investments. Think about it. Most people give gifts because they feel obligated. Birthday? Buy a card? Christmas? Grab something from Amazon. But for the wealthy, every gift has a purpose. Every gift is a seed. And seeds, when planted right, grow into forests of opportunity. There's a story about a man who started with nothing. He wasn't born into wealth. He wasn't given a trust fund. In fact, people looked down on him. But he figured out one principle that changed everything. He learned how to give, not the way most of us think of giving. Not as a transaction, not as bribery, but as a way to build bonds, to create loyalty, to invest in people. This man eventually rose to power. People began calling him a king of his world. And it wasn't because of his money, it was because of his influence. Influence built one gift at a time. When I first heard this story, I had nothing. No family wealth, no powerful last name, no head start. But that story shook me awake. I realized something important. If I wanted to move forward in life, if I wanted to rise from nothing, I couldn't just rely on money. I had to learn how to use relationships. I had to learn how to give before I received. That's what we're exploring today on The Passive Path, the hidden wealth strategy of giving as an investment. Why the wealthy see gifts differently than everyone else, and how you can use the same mindset to create opportunities, build real connections, and open doors that money alone never could. This might change how you think about generosity forever. Stay with me, because what comes next might be the missing key to your own financial freedom. Would you like me to continue with part 2? The power of borrowed influence now? The truth is simple. You don't need to be rich to connect with rich people. You don't need to be powerful to build relationships with powerful people. What you need is value, not money, not status, but value. The wealthy don't look at someone and ask, how much is in their bank account? They ask, can this person bring me something I don't already have? That something might be knowledge, it might be energy, it might be trust, it might even be a fresh perspective. Think about a young intern at a company in New York. He doesn't have millions in the bank, but he knows tech better than anyone in the office. When a senior manager struggles with a new software tool, the intern quietly steps in and solves it in minutes. The manager notices, not because the intern spent money, but because the intern made life easier. That small act is a gift of competence. This is borrowed influence. You take what you already have, a skill, a connection, a unique insight, and you use it to connect with someone who seems out of reach. There's a story of a man in Shanghai years ago. He collected paintings and antiques, not to show off, but to give away. When guests admired something in his home, he handed it to them as a gift, no conditions, no strings attached. To most people, this looked reckless. Why give away something valuable? But he knew, one day, even if only one person remembered his generosity, that gratitude would come back multiplied. That's the essence of investment. Not every seed grows, but the ones that do can feed you for life. Ask yourself, where can you borrow influence? Who could you support right now with the skills you already have? What value can you offer before asking for anything in return? Money can vanish, status can fade, but the right relationships keep opening doors. And the more you invest in them, the more your wealth expands. The real question is, how do you make people not only respect you? We often think wealth is about money, numbers in a bank account, the size of a house, the car in the driveway. But here's the reality. Money is just one form of wealth. Relationships are another. And in many cases, relationships are the more valuable asset. Think about the opportunities in your life. A job referral, a business introduction, a piece of advice that saved you years of mistakes. Those didn't come from money sitting in your account. They came from people. There's a famous story. Warren Buffett auctions a charity lunch every year. The highest winning bid so far was more than $19 million. Do you think the bidder cared about the stake? Of course not. They were buying something money can't usually buy. They were buying access. They were buying a relationship. That's how the wealthy think. They know a single conversation with the right person can change the direction of their career, or open doors to investments they could never access alone. You might not have $19 million, but you don't need to. In North America, people build careers on relationships every day. A coffee meeting with the right mentor. A genuine thank you to a manager. A thoughtful introduction between two people who can help each other. These are gifts, and they compound in value. On the passive path, we see relationships as assets just like stocks or real estate. The difference is simple. Stocks can go down, Properties can lose value, but when you invest in trust and loyalty, you create opportunities that can't be taken away. Start small. Offer to help a coworker finish a project. Share a resource with a business owner. Introduce two people who should know each other. Those actions are like deposits into your relationship bank. Every time you give, you strengthen the foundation. And one day, that foundation will support opportunities you never imagined. So the next time you think about building wealth, don't just ask how much money you're making, ask how many valuable relationships you're building. And here's where it gets even more interesting. If gifts are investments, then the real question becomes, what should you actually give? When most people think of gifts, they think of something they can buy. A watch, a bottle of wine, a gift card. But the wealthy know something different. The most powerful gifts aren't always material. They are emotional. They are thoughtful. They are personal. Here's the mistake many make. They give what they think someone needs, not what that person actually wants. Imagine this. It's your boss's birthday. Most of the office chips in and buys a generic fruit basket. It's polite. It's fine. But it's forgettable. Then one person remembers something small. Maybe the boss once mentioned how much they love a particular baseball team. So that person buys 2 tickets for the next game. It might cost less than the fruit basket, but it lands differently. Because it hits the heart, not the checklist. There's a story of a man who gave his mentor a new wallet. The mentor appreciated it, but it wasn't his style. It sat unused in a drawer. Another friend remembered that the same mentor admired Steve Jobs. He gave him the latest iPhone. That gift created excitement, not because of its price, but because it matched his personal passion. The lesson is clear. Don't focus only on what's needed. Focus on what's liked, because people remember how you made them feel, not the receipt. And here's the surprising part. Some of the most valuable gifts don't cost money at all. Think about knowledge, recommending a book that changes someone's thinking, sharing a podcast that helps them solve a problem, writing a simple thank you note that makes their day. These things are free, but they leave a lasting impression. In fact, the most expensive gift isn't always the most impactful. Sometimes the gift of your attention, your encouragement, your time is worth more than anything you could buy. On the passive path, we believe your greatest assets are the things that can't be stolen. Your knowledge, your skills, your ideas. These are gifts you can share endlessly. And every time you do, you strengthen a bond. So if you want to build real wealth through giving, don't just throw money at people. Find out what they truly care about and give in a way that touches their heart. The price tag doesn't matter. The thought does. And once you know what to give, there's one more element that multiplies the impact of your gift. It's not the size, it's not the brand, it's the timing. The right gift at the wrong time loses its power. The wealthy know this. That's why timing matters more than price. Most people give gifts only during holidays. Christmas, birthdays, anniversaries. They wait for the calendar to remind them. But here's the problem. Everyone else is giving gifts at the same time. Your gesture gets lost in the noise. Think about the last holiday party you attended. Do you remember who gave you which gift? Probably not. But you do remember the one person who surprised you in the middle of the year. The one who thought of you when no one else did. That's the difference. Gifts given when nothing is expected carry 10 times more weight. They stand out. They feel real. They feel personal. There's a story of a man who owned a collection of valuable art. When a guest admired one of his paintings, he didn't just say thank you. He took it off the wall and gave it away. No strings, no expectations, just generosity at the right moment. Most people thought he was reckless, but years later, that simple act of timing created loyalty and trust that money alone could never buy. In North America, think about something smaller. Maybe your coworker mentions how stressed they've been. 2 weeks later, you drop a small note on their desk with a coffee gift card. It's not the money, it's the fact that you remembered. You listened, you cared enough to act when it mattered. This is the difference between a transaction and a connection. A transactional gift says, I need something from you right now. A genuine gift says, I thought of you when I didn't need anything. That's how you build trust. That's how you create an impression that lasts. The real secret isn't just giving. It's giving early. It's giving often. It's giving without waiting for a reason. Because when the moment finally comes, when you do need help, people will remember the times you gave without asking for anything back, and they'll want to return the favor. That's how the wealthy multiply their influence. Not by timing the market, but by timing their generosity. Which raises the next question. What if you don't have money to give in the first place? Many people think they can't give because they don't have money. That's not true. Some of the most valuable gifts in life are completely free. Think about time. Time is something you can give to anyone. Helping a neighbor move furniture, listening to a friend who is going through a hard week, mentoring someone younger than you. These are gifts. They cost nothing but mean everything. Think about knowledge. Maybe you've read a book that changed the way you see money. You share it with a coworker. You send them a short summary of the best ideas. That gift might spark an idea that helps them solve a problem at work. They'll remember you as the person who gave them clarity. There's a story of a student who didn't have money for fancy gifts, but he loved learning. Every holiday, he gave his mentors books. Not just random books, books that carried powerful lessons. Books that had shaped his thinking. One of those mentors later became a major supporter. Not because of the money, but because the student shared wisdom that mattered. You can do the same. In North America, imagine you're starting your career. You don't have spare cash for expensive dinners, but you can still give. You can help your team by building a spreadsheet that saves hours of work. You can recommend a podcast that teaches leadership in a fresh way. You can stay late to help a coworker finish a presentation. Those are gifts, and they create loyalty. The wealthy understand this. They know giving isn't always about writing a check. It's about being valuable, being memorable, being someone people want to have around. Every time you give without expecting a return, you're planting seeds. Some may never grow, but one seed could change your future forever. So don't wait until you have a fortune. Start giving now. Share your knowledge. Offer your time. Give encouragement when someone needs it most. Because the greatest gifts often can't be wrapped. And the wealthiest people know that better than anyone. Now that you know you don't need money to give, the next question is this. How do you turn generosity into lasting loyalty that stands by you when life gets tough? Generosity has different levels. At the basic level, you give to be polite. At the higher level, you give to connect. But at the highest level, you give to build loyalty. Loyalty is when someone not only remembers your gift, they feel responsible for you. They feel invested in your success. That's when a gift stops being a gesture and becomes a bond. Think about it. If someone buys you lunch, you're thankful. But if that same person shows up for your parents when they need help, or helps your child with college applications, that's something you will never forget. There's a story about an employee who always set aside part of his paycheck. He didn't use it for himself. He used it to buy small gifts for his boss. Nothing fancy, sometimes just a thoughtful item. But he did it consistently. At first, the boss was surprised. Why would someone spend their hard-earned money this way? Then the boss realized. It wasn't about money. It was about loyalty and respect. That employee became trusted, protected, promoted faster than anyone expected. In North America, this plays out differently. Imagine you work at a small business in Chicago. Most employees just show up and leave. But one coworker always remembers to ask about your family. They support your charity fundraiser. They show up at your kid's soccer game. That person stands out, not because of money, but because of genuine care. Wealthy people understand this deeply. It's why many of them give to schools, hospitals, or charities. They know when they help others in their hardest moments. They create bonds that last a lifetime. They aren't buying loyalty. They're earning it through generosity. This is why relationships built on care become stronger than contracts. Because contracts expire, but gratitude stays forever. So here's the question. If you want people to stand by you in your toughest times, what can you give today that builds loyalty tomorrow? And once you understand loyalty, you're ready for the next step. How to apply this gift as investment mindset directly to your own path to wealth and freedom. It's one thing to understand the idea of giving as an investment. It's another thing to actually apply it in your life. Start with this principle. Relationships are assets. They can appreciate in value, they can pay dividends, they can create opportunities you could never buy. The first step is simple. Identify the people who matter most to your future. Not just the wealthy, but mentors, leaders, colleagues, even friends who share your vision. Ask yourself, who inspires me? Who challenges me? Who opens doors for me without even realizing it? Once you know who they are, think about how you can give value. If you're early in your career, you may not have money, but you have energy, you have curiosity, you have time. Offer to help with projects. Share resources they might not know about. Introduce them to someone they'd love to meet. Send an article that connects to a conversation you had. These small gestures stack up. If you're a small business owner in Texas, you could bring coffee to a local networking group. You could sponsor a small community event. you could feature another business on your social media page. Each act builds goodwill. If you're working in a corporate job in Toronto, you could mentor an intern. You could take a senior leader out for lunch just to learn from them. You could volunteer to represent your team in a cross-department project. These are all gifts that position you as someone valuable, and don't forget to invest in yourself, because your knowledge is the gift that keeps on giving. Every book you read, every skill you learn, every course you complete becomes part of the value you can share. The wealthy know this. They buy courses, they hire coaches, they spend thousands on masterminds, because they understand that knowledge is capital, and when you give that knowledge back to others, it multiplies in ways money cannot. Here's a simple challenge. Pick one person this week. Find out what they truly value. Give them something meaningful. It could be an introduction. It could be a resource. It could be your time. Do it without expecting anything in return. Do it because you're planting seeds. And remember, when you give before you receive, you're playing the long game. And the long game is where real wealth is built. The more you apply this in your daily life, the more doors will open. The more opportunities will come your way. The more people will see you not as someone asking for favors, but as someone worth standing beside. And that leads to the big question. What happens when you give and nothing comes back? Not every gift will bring something back to you. And that's the point. The wealthy don't expect every seed to sprout. They know most seeds won't. But the few that grow, those few can change everything. Think about venture capital. Investors might put money into 10 startups. 8 will fail. 1 will break even. But 1 will explode. That one success pays back more than all the losses combined. Generosity works the same way. You might help 10 people. 8 may never return the favor. 1 might say thank you and move on. But 1 will change your life in ways you never expected. That's why billionaires donate millions to charity. It's not just about taxes. It's about planting seeds on a massive scale, even if most recipients never return the favor. The few that do create partnerships, trust, and goodwill that last forever. Look around North America. Think about the scholarships funded by wealthy entrepreneurs. Some kid from a small town in Ohio gets an education because of that money. 10 years later, that kid builds a company. Who do they call first to invest? The person who gave them the chance. It's the same in everyday life. Maybe you help a friend find a job when they're struggling. You don't expect anything back, but 5 years later, they introduce you to someone who becomes your biggest client. Or you volunteer at a community center. You think you're just giving your time. Then one day, someone you met there remembers your kindness and recommends you for a position you never knew existed. The return on giving isn't always immediate. It's not always obvious, but it's real, and it's powerful. Here's the truth. The people who win the biggest in life are the ones who give first. They aren't waiting for a perfect moment. They aren't keeping score. They're constantly planting seeds. When tough times come, and they always do, those seeds become a safety net. Opportunities appear. Doors open. Help arrives. That's the hidden wealth strategy. Give without expectation. Give before you need. Give in ways that touch the heart, and when you do, you won't just build wealth. You'll build resilience. You'll build a network that protects you when money alone can't. So here's the next step. If giving pays such high returns, what's the ultimate lesson you can take from all of this? Wealth isn't just about money. It's about people. It's about trust. It's about the doors that open when others believe in you. The richest people in the world understand this. They don't think in terms of expenses. They think in terms of investments. And their greatest investments are not always in stocks or real estate. They are in relationships. Every gift you give is a choice. You can give to impress, or you can give to connect. You can give to get something, or you can give with no strings attached. The first path makes you look desperate. The second path makes you unforgettable. So here are the lessons to carry forward. Give before you need, because true generosity is most powerful when nothing is expected. Give what people love, because feelings create bonds that money cannot buy. Give beyond money, your time, your knowledge, your support. These are the gifts that last, and give to the people around the people, sometimes helping someone's parent, or showing kindness to their child. Builds loyalty far stronger than a gift handed directly. Most importantly, invest in yourself, because the sharpest gift you can ever share is your mind. Books, skills, ideas. They compound, they multiply. They attract opportunities that no wallet ever could. This is the passive path. The path where you stop chasing money and start building wealth that grows on its own. So here's what you can do today. Pick one person in your life, Find out what they truly value. Give them something thoughtful, not to get something back, but to plant a seed. Because every seed you plant, every gift you give, every act of generosity you offer is an investment, and the return on that investment can last a lifetime. If this message helped you see money and relationships in a new way, make sure to like this video. Subscribe to The Passive Path for more strategies on building wealth and freedom, and share this with someone you care about. The more we give, the more we grow, the more we all win together.